Get to subscribe to Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons and friends. Today's special guest is Shawnise Chantell out of Jacksonville, Arkansas.
Welcome to Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons and friends. I'm waiting for my cast to get in, but anyways, guys, it's right now it's just me, but I'm hoping everybody is doing well out there. I had a good day today. It's a beautiful day here in Chicago, and I'm really enjoying this day. Each day is very good to me because I thank God that I woke up to see another day because somebody went to bed last night and they didn't wake up this morning. So I'm just glad and I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. God is so good. I was having one of those days earlier today, but I'm still thankful. Sometimes when we get into those moods where we just find ourselves in a little depression, the best thing for us to do is probably to get out there into the sunlight because the sun helps us. It reminds us that we're still amongst the living. And so when you are amongst the living, it's so important to just enjoy that breeze, that air, that energy of the sun, because the sun gives you energy. And so I'm just, like I said, I'm just grateful to still be here because somebody went to bed last night and they did not wake up this morning. So I'm grateful. But I'm gonna start off with some little celebrity gossip today because our real estate nugget hasn't made it in yet, and usually that's not like her, but we're going to start off with um let's see. I can't believe I don't have. Okay. All right, here we go.
It's time for celebrity gossip with the one and only Shanita J.
Hello, everybody. It's your girl, Shanita J, coming to you today with your celebrity gossip. So, I got a few
Hold on.
stories today. My top story is let's talk about Johnny Depp. I don't know if you guys are aware, but not that long ago, he was reported to be an
Abusive relationship.
abuser to his then girlfriend. And the reports are saying that he abused her, but then tapes came out of her actually assaulting and verbally abusing him on more than one occasion. So now they're currently in court for this case, and so let's see how that shakes out. Moving right along, Kalyn Walker has been found guilty. He was being accused of being a serial rapist, and when those reports first came out, a lot of people came to his defense and, kind of downplayed everything, but he's been found guilty and could face quite some time in prison. So, praying for all those people involved in that situation as well. And Tyga is being sued by Vans for his wavy sneakers because it does look very similar to the style and color, sequence of a regular pair of Vans. And lastly, I want to report about DJ Envy of the Breakfast Club
Okay, guys, I'm not sure what's happening on her end with the video, her recording today. So I'm sorry about that. But anyways, guys, so um, I had a few things that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to actually talk about the fact that I was reading an article today, and it was about banks cheating black homeowners out of during the pandemic, and they were saying that there was Wells Fargo rejected 53% of refinancing applications submitted by black homeowners, which I think is like in poor taste. So I have like a listing of how they all of the banks that and how they did their numbers and who who had the most, and Wells Fargo was like the worst of the worst. So you got J.P. Morgan Chase, you got Bank of America, you got Rocket Mortgage, and overall they saying that the overall is saying that like 71% was approved for African Americans, 87% were approved for the Caucasians. JP Morgan. It's supposed to be like 10%. That's what it's supposed to be. The percentage is supposed to be 10%. If anything, there's a gap between the approvals. It should be like 10%. But because um Wells Fargo had like the worst of the worst with African Americans, So I just wanted to share that little bit of information with everybody. Stay away from Wells Fargo, and that's all I could say. But also in the news, they was talking about Sasha Obama is now dating 24-year-old son of Hollywood actor Clifton Power Jr. Um, his, his father is actually the guy who played in Woman Thou Loose, The Women Are Thou Loose, and Next Friday and Ray. He played in those two movies, those three movies there. And also they have just recently um, given landmark, put a landmark, officially landmark uh, the land that the home that Black Panther leader lived in Maywood, the home where he used to live in, Fred Hampton. Um, they actually landmarked it today, so I thought that was really good to hear too. So yeah, I just wanted to share those things with you guys today. It was something else I was gonna about the dentist, but yeah, but it's funny how I just thinking about how they were talking about Clifton Power Jr. and how he's dating Sasha Obama. For the rest of those girls' life, I guess there it's gonna always be where people are gonna be following everything that they do, and I feel sorry for them because so if they drink a little, people are gonna be they're gonna be following them for that, and they're gonna be talking about them about that, and it's sad. Actually, my husband and I was talking about how um good evening, Danielle. We was talking about how you would prefer to be wealthy than to be rich and wealthy, because and the reason why we say that is because he was saying that I wouldn't want to be rich and famous. That's what he was saying. Rich and famous. He wouldn't want to be rich and famous because he said, because you don't have a life anymore. He said, I would just prefer to be wealthy rather than rich and wealthy. I mean, wealthy and rich and famous. That's the word for it. But yeah, so yeah, yeah, I would. And then looking at this and listening to how they, following this young lady around the way they doing and stuff, I just think that's so uncool, you know. But that's life. But anywho, I'm trying to give my people a little time to get into the thing before I get started on bringing in our guests for today. So Bear with me, please. Bear with me today. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna bring her in anyway and just bring her into some of the conversations, see what she think. Okay. How are you today, Shawnise?
I am good.
Good, good,
Glad to
good,
be here.
good. I like your personality. You seem so happy and
Well,
grateful.
thank you. Oh, I
Mhm.
have a lot to be grateful for, honey. That's for
I,
sure.
I know that's right. I know that's right. So did you hear me talking about this Sasha Obama, her new boyfriend, and they said he's
Yes,
24
girl.
years old, and it's like, okay, let the girls live. They young
They're
people.
young.
Yeah, so let them live. Let them have fun. Even though I
Absolutely.
was really surprised when I seen whose son it was, though, because I guess after you see somebody, a character in a show, you really get that. It feel like the person honestly, and then
Hmm.
you start seeing that person as the characters that they played in different movies and stuff. So every character that I've seen this guy play as in the movies that he played in, he always seemed like he was a crooked guy.
Yeah.
He did. Always. Every movie they had this man playing in, he always played crooked.
I was just thinking about how the parents feel. I'm sure President Obama and Mrs. Obama, they raised them girls to
Mhm.
a very respectful young lady, but they
Mm,
also know that they're young. They're going to
mm.
go through, like my grandma always say, keep living.
Yep. Yep.
So I think it's important for the young ladies to know to not worry about what's in the magazines or what people are saying. Just live, because life is so short.
Yep.
Their parents already laid a foundation. This is their own life, and
Mhm.
they just keep living. They're young. They're gonna go through different things in life, and just not to let all that stuff depress them. Keep living. If people want to take pictures, let them take pictures.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, they said that Michelle actually is the one who accidentally let the cat out the bag because didn't nobody know that she was dating who she was dating.
ah,
She was on the Ellen DeGeneres show and it slipped out about her dating Clifton Powell's son.
and
Yeah.
they used to the spotlight anyway.
Oh
So
yeah.
they used to people just taking pictures and probably talking on the side. So
Yeah.
it ain't nothing that they can't do. I'm sure they got PRs or publicists that if anything hit the fan, they know how to work it all out.
I'm sure they do. And I was also talking
So
about that.
leave them girls alone.
Yeah, let them grow up. Let them be young ladies. They young. They young.
Hmm.
Enjoy life.
I
When I
know when
was
I was
their age,
young, honey.
yeah,
I don't
exactly.
want to think about it.
The streets was
I wasn't rich and
mine.
famous, but
Yeah, exactly. No, I wasn't rich and famous, but the streets was mine. It wasn't no limit to what I did, boy. So
things I
yeah.
used to do, I don't do no more.
No, no, exactly. It's
Places I
what you
used to
do
go.
as you get older and stuff. Yeah. That's exactly right. Hold on. Hey, Miss Ursula.
Hello. Hello.
How
Hi.
how are you?
I am very, very tired. I literally just came in the door,
We
but I apologize. How are you ladies today?
I am
good.
blessed.
We good.
Very good. I
Hmm. That's okay. Did you hear about they took on the Fred Hamilton's the Black Panther leader, his Maywood home, they have made it a landmark now.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah. They said that during his killing of that raid in Chicago, in his Chicago apartment, they were
Mm-hmm.
saying that the guys that was involved in that raid faced criminal charges, but they were acquitted. But the families of Hampton and others were awarded nearly $2.22 million settlement.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is his
That,
widow?
that's
His widow is still alive, isn't she?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think she is. I'm not really sure. Did y'all hear about this? This is funny. This one was crazy. They said a Florida dentist charged with fatal. He put a hit out on his brother-in-law 8 years ago because he wanted his sister and her kids to move back to where he was at.
What?
Yeah. So
So
he
he
put a
put a
hit.
hit.
But that was 8
Yeah.
years ago, and now he
Yeah.
just
Yeah, he wanted him dead. I guess he figured if he's still alive, they're gonna have to stay put where they were at because of the fact that that's because she got kids by this man, and so usually a lot of times people don't move as far away from their mates, their ex-husbands and stuff like that because they got kids, and in some cases, they don't move that far away from the ex-spouse and stuff because they want to make sure that the kids still can communicate with the father and stuff. So yeah, I'm assuming that that's why he wanted them gone because he wanted them back. He wanted his sister to live where he
That was
was.
very extreme. Very extreme.
Yes.
8 years ago.
Oh my gosh. Close,
Yeah.
close much.
Yeah, people crazy. We just gotta stay prayed up, y'all. Stay
Amen.
prayed up. And
Amen.
you heard about the bank thing with they said Wells Fargo is the worst of rejecting African Americans
Mm.
for their refinances. They said that a lot of people was thinking that this was their golden moment to because with the economy being so upside down and stuff like that right now, they figured, well, this would be a golden time for me to at least reduce the cost of my um the mortgage or whatever. Yeah. But if you went through Wells Fargo as an African American, they was like shooting them down. Boop, nope, not here.
Wow.
Yep.
You know what? I got a message from Toyota saying that they were being sued, right? So I got the mail and I read it, and it says that Toyota is being sued for increasing the I guess the interest rate on
Yeah.
African Americans.
Yep.
And they end up losing that case, so they had to send everyone who bought a car between a certain period of time from Toyota, and you were African American, they sent you a check in the mail.
How much
Wow,
But I didn't
really?
know Toyota was like that though. I'm like, Toyota, I like
Girl, how much
y'all.
was the check? How much was the check? Was it a
And
lot?
I think that this might have been about 4 or 5 years ago. But I think that mine was maybe 300. But I mean 300 out of a lot of people, and that
Yeah.
300 was like
Yeah, that's a
mailbox money.
lot. Yep.
Yeah.
So
Hey,
they
Angelique.
came in right on time. But I said, Toyota, y'all
Yeah.
the best of the best.
Yeah.
I didn't, but it's like what you don't know. They put papers in front of you, you sign it, but you don't know on the inside because you're African American, they
Yeah.
just open the interest rate.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's so
But they
sad.
made it right though. They sent me that check, so we good. We good. I still got that Toyota outside.
I know that's right. You said I'm still holding on to
I'm still riding with y'all.
I know that's right.
it. Even though y'all did me foul.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
they straighten us out.
Yeah.
So most likely Will Fargo may be up on
Oh, they gonna be on that list too. I'm gonna be looking for my check.
You don't know.
I ain't
That's
got
what
no
I got
Will
my
Fargo
mortgage through
money, so
too.
I ain't got no Will
Yeah.
Fargo yet.
I got my mortgage through them, so they can go ahead and get to send us some refunds.
Yeah. See, I'm looking for mine. I'm gonna be
It's
looking
good to
for
be black, ain't it?
As my
Always,
ancestors say.
always.
Black is beautiful.
Yes, he is. It's lovely. Yep. But guys, as you all noticed, our guest of today is author Shawnise Chantell. She's out of Jacksonville, Arkansas, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Little
She's an
town.
Arkansas girl.
Go Razorbacks, I guess. If they win.
Yes, yeah, Razorbacks. Say it again.
Ooh, Big Suey.
Yes. So, wait a minute. We got one more coming in. Hey, Margaret. Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
How's your
How
day
you doing?
going?
Yeah.
It was good. It
It was
was a
good.
rush, but I got here.
Yeah. Look, she never late.
Exactly.
So you know that must was something.
Yeah.
Exactly.
hmm But anyway, so did you have anything you want to mention today, Margaret, before we get started on our guest?
Um. No, not right now. I'll save it for another time because I'm so I'm so frazzled trying to get
Oh, okay.
because I was
Okay.
driving because I had to go. I went into another neighbor a new area. And that's all in being in real estate. You had to you had to learn new areas, and that was one of the things I had today. I had to go. I was there being the Lord. I put it like that. He
Oh,
showed
okay.
me. He took me there and brought me back. I put it like that.
Oh,
Angelique said it's good to be black all day, every day.
Yeah,
Yay!
yes, it is. Exactly.
that's
You
right.
ain't gotta quote me on it.
Well, with that being said, we want to welcome our guest, author Shawnise Chantell, to the show. And we want to hear from you. Tell us a little bit about you and
Well,
who is
as you
Chantell.
said, honey, I am author Shawnise Chantell from Jacksonville, Arkansas. It's a little town outside of Little Rock. I am 36 years old, so I was raised from an upbringing where we had to work hard. So everything in life, I had to work hard. I had a child at the age of 16. I ended up having to finish high school. I ended up having to raise that daughter on my own as a single parent. And so a lot of times between life within 7 to 10 years, it was mainly working hard. But what led within my medical career is my aunt died at the age of 15, right next to me, from a cancer. It was I guess they didn't have no cure at the time for this particular cancer. And that led me to believe like I want to be a part of the medical field. I want to be a part of change because they need to find a cure. This not right. So I end up starting from the bottom up. But I always stay within the medical field. I end up going to Pulaski Technical College, and then I end up going to the University of Arkansas for medical science. End up getting my associate's degree, and I had a job at the Arkansas Heart Hospital. And I stayed there for about a couple of years. Part of that I was in education, but I stayed at the Arkansas Heart because I was utilizing my degree and I was working with heart patients.
Mhm.
So I ended up working there. Then I got pregnant. So I had a baby, and then less than 6 months later, after I had that baby, got pregnant again. So we're talking about like 18 years later.
Oh my goodness.
So I ended up getting pregnant again, and at this particular time, I went on maternity leave, and I went in to have the baby. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to get my tubes tied, which I made a decision before I even went to the hospital that day that I was going to get my tubes tied thereafter. So I went in and had the baby all healthy and everything. And got the tubes. I had the baby, and then they pushed me toward the operating room to get my tubes tied. And so procedure supposed to take about 30 minutes. Fortunately, mine took about an hour and a half. At this point, I didn't understand why. So I was planning on going home within like 2 or 3 days, but 2 or 3 days lasted 54 days.
Oh, wow.
Because immediately after surgery, I began to go downhill, but it was unnoticeable. I was complaining that my abdomen was hurting, but no one was hearing me other than my family. And on the second day, I believe that's when they put an NG tube in me to try to release some of the gas or the decomposition or something like that. And then they put me a feeding tube because I was no longer eating because my stomach was hurting. It was like on fire. And And they waited 2 more days or a couple of more days. And on the 6th day, I end up complaining that I was really, really hot. My mom, my dad said it was like freezing in the room. They'll put wet towels on me. They'll put ice on me. But I was still saying that I was hot. So my sister come from a background of medical because she worked with hospice patients. My mother, she's a housekeeper for many, many years. So my sister said, Mom, I think Nixie got a infection. Nixie is a childhood name that they call me. And she said, T, I think you're right. So they went ahead and told the nurse. The nurse told the doctor, who was at home, and said that they were at home for that day. And they'll check within that theory on the following day. Now, I knew I wasn't going to make it to the following day. And I believe my mom knew I was very deadly. So she told the nurse, call that doctor right now. Call her back because you guys got to do something right now. So they end up calling doctor back. They end up running a CT. The CT scan showed that I had fecal matter. And then they prepped me for emergency exploratory surgery to see what was really going on. So I went into surgery, and as soon as she opened me up, infection just poured out.
Oh my God.
And as she was searching, she noticed that I had a bunch of abscesses. And as she was cleaning my intestines, she noticed there's a nicked bowel, which was done from my tubal.
Oh, wow.
So at that point, we're talking about 6 days later, the fecal matter already is flowing through my bloodstream, my organs.
Oh, man.
So they end up putting a wound vac on me as well as cervical drainage, and they sent me to CCU. Coaches came back, I had 3 deadly infections. So I went to CCU. I also had collapsed lung. And on my I went to CCU the day before my birthday. I would start breathing, so I was having respiratory problem. But exactly on my birthday, they said I had congestive heart failure, renal failure.
Oh, wow.
Also, I was throwing up my bowels.
Oh,
And
God.
oh my God.
Oh my Lord.
I would never forget that, honey. So it wasn't going out the right way. It
Right.
was going up through my mouth, and you can just smell it. And ooh. Anyway, so I went through all of those things. And then I finally made it to the floor. I began to have nosebleeds. So I began to get blood transfusion. Also, they said I had double pneumonia. And I figure that's probably going to take me out because double pneumonia, my lungs are already weak. And my mom and my sister and my dad ended up coming to the hospital. They helped me to walk. The nurses was turning me left and right. Also, I had bed sores. And, I beat pneumonia within 3 days. And after that, a birdie told me, she said, Shawnise, if you tell each doctor that you are ready to go home, they're going to have a board meeting and they're going to set up for you to be discharged from the hospital. So I started with the first doctor. He came in like 4 o'clock clockwork every morning. And I just started working. I had like 7 or 8 doctors. Because I had one for the lung, I had one infection disease. I had one for heart. I had several of them. So I started working on them. And I got down to the last one. And they said, guess what? You're about to go home tomorrow. And so I was so excited. My sister, she came up there that very night. We sung praises for God. We just do what we did because she worked nearby. So she would leave from work to come to the hospital as a normal daily routine. And she left me with, I'll see you later, sis. I love you. I'll pick you up tomorrow. I said, okay. So I was back looking at the clock. And she left. By the time she made it home, I was told she pulled up in the driveway. And that was 15 minutes from when she left me. It was around like 8 o'clock at night. And she got the call to hurry back up to the hospital. Because within this time of her heading home, the heart monitoring team notified the doctor and the nurse, and they said that my heart rhythm was off, so they rushed in there. And by the time the nurse came in there, I jumped out of it, so I was talking to her normal and everything, and the head doctor came in, and everything was normal, so they all left. Well, 15 minutes later, they get a stat call, like code blue call. They rush back in. She's like, I just left her 15 minutes ago. So they asked me how I was doing, and immediately I saw them come in, but I couldn't speak, and immediately I flatlined.
Oh,
And it was
wow.
like, ding. And then it was strange because I heard someone say, "My God, she just had a baby." And so immediately I felt to myself, I'm like, well, that's weird. I'm there, I'm here, but my body over there. So I knew that I was in a separate place other than that hospital. I didn't see my body floating
Oh,
up, but I
wow.
knew I was at a separate place. And then I realized I just died. I didn't mean to die because it was just so easy. I wasn't hungry. I wasn't thirsty. I've been fighting through pneumonia, fighting through this heart thing, fighting through these infections, and I mean, I was fighting. And now for me just to let go like that, I didn't. I didn't mean to let go. And
Mm.
so I end up through that process. I end up feeling so I was very frightened at that point because at the point of being noticed that I was dead, I was like, leave behind my baby, the newborn baby, the 1 year old, and then also the 16-year old at the time who was taking care of that 1 year old.
Wow.
And but immediately I felt comfort that everything's gonna be okay. I felt warm. I saw the light. I was going through a tunnel like it was just pulling me. The light was inviting, was pulling me. And I just started hearing inspirational music. I started seeing colors. I'm like, oh wow, this is nice. And by the light from my upbringing, it's like God is a truth and a light. So I'm about to meet God, and I was all right with that. So and when I saw the light, I remember passing through prayers as though it was obvious. I was just hearing prayers and people like praying for me, but I didn't know who was praying. But it's like I knew that those prayers were on my behalf. And then
Wow.
I went into a garden, and to me, it was like a lily in a valley because it was several flowers, but it was one particular flower that really stood out to me. And it was like pulsating, like vibrating. I could see the stem between light and energy, and it was just that flow. And I believe that pulsation was the communicating of God speaking to me. I'm not sure
Wow.
what was said, but I believe that when I was over there, I understood everything.
Almost like
Wow.
And
Moses in the
I didn't have
tree,
to move my mouth. It's like
in the bush.
I knew within my mind and my spirit what was being said to me. And I believe it was a lot of things that took place. I believe it was my grandfather who was speaking on my behalf because I believe that flower was Jesus. Because I feel that from my upbringing, if I would have saw his actual face, I probably would have still be dead. But but when I came to, so a lot of those minutes is still over there because it happened like 20 minutes is a very long time, right?
Mhm.
So I'm sure there's a lot more to this testimony. But as soon as I came through, my mom and my dad, when I was telling mom and my dad, they was in a private room. And as they was resuscitating me, and the doctors gave me 5 shots. They had a lupus device, the same device that they had on George Floyd while he was in the ambulance. And they was just working tirelessly. So they end up putting me in an induced coma for 48 hours to take the pressure off my brain and my heart because they didn't know if I was going to be a vegetable or not because it's been 20 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah,
And
wow.
yeah, so I'm not
yeah.
sure
Usually after
if they
15
brought me out
minutes.
of the coma or I just jumped out. But my mom said that when I came out of the coma, I kept on asking what happened, and she said, "Nisi, you died. Your heart stopped, baby." And I said, "No, I didn't." So I asked my sister, and my sister, she's just a year older than I am, so we always bug each other and stuff. I said, "Tia, what happened?" She said, "Nisi, your heart stopped." I said, "No, it didn't." So I kept asking her over and over again because my mind couldn't register that what took place because they gave me something to wipe out the memory. But
Wow.
obviously I was confused, like why I'm in CCU and why y'all looking like that, what's going on? What happened? And so by me asking her over and over and over again, she was figuring like maybe she have a brain injury. And within all of that, so I wasn't a vegetable, and I end up going home. I end up going home on it was September the 11th, 2019. But 2 days before I went home, I was in bed and I was laying there and I had to use the restroom. And you know, when you're in a hospital, it ain't like what you think. They don't really answer a lot of call lights and stuff. And it's always important to have family and support there. I believe the reason why that I am here today, not only number one is God, but number two, because I had a support system. My mom made sure my room stayed clean. I had aunties that was there to make sure I get wiped up and bathed. They was communicating with my parent when my mom had to work. Somebody was there with me, even overnight. My sister was there, so they was always communicating just to make sure that everybody everybody was on the same page.
Wow.
And make sure that I was well taken care of.
Wow.
And so, but this particular day, my dad was laying next to me, and I had to use the restroom. And I didn't, I don't know if I called him or tried to call him, but I knew they wasn't going to come immediately. So I tried myself to get out the bed. And as soon as my foot touched the floor, I end up falling through that hospital table thing. And I end up hitting my head on the floor. And my dad, he was highly upset. And then I left 2 days later. So then when I got home, within 24 hours, I started to go downhill. I started to talk like a baby, having stroke-like symptoms. I was very slurred speech. I just wasn't myself. I was barely walking.
Wow.
So they end up saying that I got to go back to the hospital. And I'm like, I'm not going back to that hospital. They said, well, Nisi, you got to go to a hospital. So I said, well, I'll go to a different one, because that one over there kept me there for 54 days and they messed me up. They saved me now.
But they were the ones who cut. They were the ones who cut your bowels.
Right.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't want to go back there because I just left there, and it's only been a day. I ain't been home 48 hours yet. So I end up going to UMS, which is end up going to UMS, which is the same school that I graduated from. And I was there 3 days, and they said I had the stroke-like symptoms and I had volume loss in my brain, but thank God I didn't have the fullness of the stroke. And so I was there 3 days, and by the time I made it home, a day after I made it home, my dad get the call, because he was my advocate because I couldn't talk. So he got the call saying that she has to come back because she has E. coli.
Oh, wow.
And I said, E. coli is like, Nisa, you got to go back to the hospital, baby, because you can make us sick and stuff like that. And that's serious. And I was just crying because, Mom, I just left the hospital 54 days. Then I came back to UMS, and I was there 3 days. Now I got to go back. But
all of this happened from you having a baby.
So luckily, by the time we was leaving the house, my dad get another call saying that they did some more search within my labs, and the E. coli that I had, it could be treatable at home.
Okay.
But then it started a whole thing where I had to get a home health nurse. Home health nurse had to come out to change the dressings and everything because I had the wound vac. Then I had a life vest at the time because I was also being prepped for a ICD, which is a pacemaker that I got now, because I got that on December the 4th of 2019. So then I had to find the strength to use the restroom, to get out the toilet, to bathe. Just everything that was simple was now a challenge. I was no longer working. I was been working since I was 16, so it was a financial strain. I just wasn't used to this type of challenge. And not only did it affect me, but it affected my family. And also, by me being a single mother, I felt as though it was not just my fault because I chose to have the tubal, but I felt real bad because my 16-year-old had to step in my shoes as a mother. And I know how that is, being 16 and pregnant. She had to step into my shoes as being a mother, and it wasn't even her child, it was her baby sister. So to take care of her while I was in the hospital. And also during this time, I had to give the little one, the newborn, to her first-time dad while I stayed in the hospital. So I didn't have time to breastfeed her. I didn't have time to really be with her. I had her, and it's like I had to give her away. She was like ripped out of my arms because I was fighting for my life. And he was a first-time dad, so he had to take on that role for up to 6 months. And
how old is he? How old was he at the time?
Well, I was 33, so he was a year older than I am.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So we all went to the same school together.
This your last
And
child. This happened with
yeah,
your
the
last.
last child,
Oh,
right.
okay.
Naomi is the first younger baby. So I missed out on her walking, her first steps. I missed out on hers and her first birthday. Her birthday is 2 days after mine, which is August the 18th. Mine's August the 16th. So I had a big old party planned, but I ended up being in a hospital. And when I actually got now, this when I actually had a photo shoot with me and Naomi because I wanted to celebrate our birthday together, and it's the same picture that you will see on the book. But
Okay.
a lot of things took place. I had to go from now I take about maybe 8 or 9 pills, but I was on 20 plus pills. I
Wow.
was my home health nurse at the time. My one of my heart medicines was like $300, and like I said, it was a financial strain. So she went well over and beyond, and did something where I didn't have to pay a dime for that heart medicine. So it was like
Oh,
God would
okay.
just send them blessings, and I never had one bill to be turned off. I mean, just everything really just led up to this point as far as me creating a book. Now, a year later, I was looking at television one night and I saw a lady having was getting CPR, and so immediately I started to have flashbacks of my own experience, and I just started feeling depressed and scared and fearful and anxiety. And my dad suggested that I speak to Dahlia Diston, a psychiatrist, and I spoke with her. And also, I had counselor too, and I had several sessions with her. But because I was thinking, well, I'm not crazy, Daddy. I'm just going through. But you just don't know. You don't know what a
Mhm.
psychiatrist is really all about. I
Right.
didn't have too much
Mm-hmm.
knowledge. All I knew was, okay, well, I try this because I tried everything. So let me go see a psychiatrist. So I'm gonna go
Mm.
see a psychiatrist. She were able to have several sessions with me, was able to talk, and the other, yeah, that session at the time she said, Shawnise, I want you to write a book because every time we talk is always something new that comes out, and you could be an inspiration, and this gonna help you therapeutically.
Hmm. So
Mm.
tell the
And
people what's the title of your book.
it's called God Within the Lily because the lily is what I've seen at that last vision when I was in the afterlife. And
Okay.
the
Wow.
lily
So
is
it's
God.
about your it's about what happened with you
Yeah,
during your
it's
On the
about
last.
journey.
everything. So
Okay.
it's about the surgery that led up to the afterlife, and it's about the afterlife. And then it also has interviews of my mom, my dad's things that I may not know.
Hmm.
It also has reviews of people that I share my story with all over the world, and their comments as well as in there, as well as on the website. I mean, it's some good stuff, girl. It's impactful. It's a lot of good stuff within this book, and by me writing it, the crazy thing about it is I've written the book within like maybe a day or two. I just written everything down from start to finish. I didn't care what type of order it was. I typed everything, and then I found a publisher. And when I contacted the publisher, it was like she was God sent because she really resonated with my story. She's very spiritual. And it's been driving ever since from the writing to the editing. I mean, it's a one-stop shop. Marketing, everything is a one-stop shop. And so I just written everything down, and now the book is here, and was not complete. It don't release until summer of this year, but it's coming.
Wow.
Oh.
You
And
definitely had a
that's how I started
testimony.
writing. So I
Gosh.
didn't come from being a writer or author. I really didn't know that I really fitted in like that. I knew that I fitted within the medical because I was caring for patients. And also I went to cardiac rehab, and it was strange to be a cardiac rehab because I just worked down the stairs or down the elevator, and now I'm there receiving
As a patient.
treatment. So
Hmm.
now I'm on a different side, but I always been so humble to work with patients, and so I guess I got all that good energy and vibe back.
Mm.
And so my mom, she was my plus one, so she was there with me, and they showed you how to eat properly, what to buy, salt intake. We did yoga, we worked out. I mean, it was just life changing because now I had to learn this new me. The old me died. The old me was jumping out of airplanes at 30, was running up the mountain, was very fearless. Now I'm scared to go to sleep. I'm scared that my heart can stop anytime I have to sleep. I have to sleep beside a device. Because I mean, just imagine
This
if I
is
would have
right
went
now.
home.
You have to
This is
sleep.
right now.
Oh, okay.
So my heart can, like, this thing can shot me anytime.
Right.
And imagine if I would have went home the day that I was so eager to go home, and my babies would have been there. I would never had that immediate type of CPR. So,
well, you
so
probably
now,
just need to rest in the Lord because He brought you through a whole lot. So there's no time to fear Him now, to fear death or anything,
and
because you already
I don't
experienced
fear,
it.
and
So
I think it's
I
not the
know it
fact.
makes you scared, but
Well, I think it's the fact that I'm not ready. Like, I so want to see these babies grow.
right,
I see. I
and you will.
know He has that place for me. So that's the
Mm-hmm.
thing. I was in between coming back or not. I didn't have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
But when I saw everything, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
You want to stay.
Yeah.
If I said, if you was to see everything that was shown, the earth would
You
be in
wanna
your
stay.
rearview mirror,
Yeah.
because that's turmoil, that's stress.
Yeah.
None of that is over there. It was paradise. And so, but just
Just like the
knowing that
Bible
it
said.
exists, I know that there's a place. Now I'm back in earth, so of course we know sinner, so I gotta work my way back. But I think that it's the fact that if my heart was to stop, my babies,
Yeah.
my
I
parents,
understand it.
I'm here by myself. So that's the fear of me staying up and being conscious, because I'm not knowing what's gonna happen if I go to sleep.
Mm.
I
Well,
know that my soul rests in God, but anything.
How old is
anything
your oldest daughter now?
My oldest daughter, she's 19. She just turned 19.
Oh, okay.
And then I have a 3-year-old's going on 4, and then that 2-year-old is going on 3.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you got some small ones.
So I do see a heart doctor who monitor my potassium and everything. And now what I need to do is try to find some type. I may go back to cardiac rehab, because now I have to get my weight down, because the doctor stated that the possibility of what took place is because I was obese.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you one question?
Sure.
So I heard you say that when you were going through the situation, when your heart stopped, they gave you medication to wipe your memory. What? First of
Yeah, I
all,
was
what
wondering
kind of
about that one too.
medication, and why would they do that?
Well, I think
I
if I was to remember what all took place, with them putting that in my throat, because prior to that, I was already couldn't breathe. I was having anxiety attacks, and I had anxiety attack for a while. Matter of fact, for 45 minutes, because I didn't even know what anxiety attacks was, or asthma or anything. And the nurse kept on saying, breathe out your nose, or whatever, breathe out your mouth, or whatever they said. They kept saying it. And I didn't know that, because I don't think I was doing, I couldn't breathe, and I was laboring. And a lady that I did her clinic one time. She was underneath the doctor, did her clinic. And she was an African-American woman. And she came in, it was like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. She came in as a mother figure and said, you're going to be okay. And she hugged me. And when I woke up, I had a big old BiPAP machine on me. But I believe that they gave me the medicine so I wouldn't remember all that event that happened within those 20 minutes. And because my mom said when they finally walked in the room about 1 or 2 o'clock, they had sheets everywhere, tissue everywhere, blood everywhere. So they was really working tirelessly to get me stabilized. Wow. So, and my heart was weak at that point. It was very weak. It was maybe beating at the EF might have been 10 to 15%, I believe. It was real low. So I guess they did that to wipe out that, but they couldn't wipe out everything. I remember everything long term. I don't remember certain things as far as the hospital. Short term is where I'm really battling at with my memory. But what they couldn't take is what God wanted me to come back and share. They couldn't take that memory over there. They might have took it on earth, but they couldn't take it outside of earth because of God, all powerful, wanted me to share that bring that back to share.
Amen.
So that was, but honey, it must have been some powerful medicine. Because let me tell you, I don't remember that particular event. I just remember them coming in and asking was okay, and then it's flatline. And then next thing I know, I was at a different place.
One
And
thing is good
so
that everything went well with your baby, the birth of your baby, that you was still, nothing happened with the baby and stuff with
Yeah,
during all of
especially.
this stuff,
Yeah.
right. And
because it
so
could have
I always
happened.
had like
It
healthy
could have happened
pregnancy.
right there while you was giving birth. It could have anything
Mhm.
could have happened then. It sounded like it was one of those situations where you could have
Well,
been.
it's because I didn't have any heart problems. I didn't have any kidney problems. What started all of my organ failure and my problems was when the doctor put that nick in my bowels. And
Okay.
that fecal matter poured all over my bloodstream, which was taking my healthy young body. Because two
Oh
years
yeah.
prior, like I said, I just jumped out of an airplane. Now I won't do that because I'm afraid that my heart will stop in a miss. But I was
So you
completely healthy.
did you have you was septic?
I was septic, yeah. So I end up being septic, and I have pictures and a video of that particular moment. But I end up, because I wasn't using the restroom, and my stomach was steady hurting, and nothing. I don't know, but I know
Wow.
it just came up. It just
Mm.
came up. So
So
at
did
that
you
point,
did are
and they
you
could
back to
smell it.
normal now? Are you where you gotta you do you have to carry a bag around
Now I
now? Or
don't have to
you
carry a bag. My
Oh,
bowels
okay.
are functioning well, thank God.
Oh, okay.
It's been 2 years ago, so they do function well. And only thing now, I do have a pacemaker, and I still have to take heart medicines and different medications. And my abdominal is healed on the outside, but on the inside is very sensitive. Like my babies, they can't really jump on me, and I can embrace them with a hug like a parent really should. But when they
Mm-hmm.
jump on me, it's like ow, because on
Oh
the
Ooh.
wow.
inside is still the nerves and the muscles is still unhealed. And
One
so
of
I
the
battle.
good
2 years
things,
later. Wow. That's
amazing story. Oh, be kept by
But so
Jesus.
now it's really a lot of mental
Mm.
stuff. It's like when I was writing a book, I had to go back to that place,
Mm.
and that really
So
took me back. And people, when I did a first podcast, it was like, once you do hypnosis or once you do meditation, but that will only bring back that trauma, and I don't need to repeat that. And what God wants me to remember is what I'm sharing. If you wanted me to
right.
remember
right.
more stuff in that 20
Exactly.
minutes, it would have hit my memory by now.
So tell people where they could find you at.
Okay, so honey, I am on a lot of social media platform: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. If you just search author Shawnise Chantell, that's ShaWniseChantell. Within any of the platforms, you will find me. Also, I do have a website, that's www.shawnisechantell.com. That book right now is on pre-order, so you can
Oh, okay.
order that. It's on discount right now until the book release. Then it's gonna go up. It's gonna hit Amazon, and then all the other crazy stuff. But also I do have a phone number. That's 612-787-7073, but it's 612 purpose.
Oh, okay. So
And
what's that for? What's
well,
the
that is for a ways to contact. So it's like a different avenue to contact. You can first contact me on the website, but if you really want to speak to me, you can always contact me on that cell phone, or you can contact my Gmail, which is the Shawnise Chantell story at gmail.com. So just different ways to contact.
Mm.
Right. Wow.
I wanted to ask you in your
Yes.
book, right? I know you tell your story, but is it you telling your story just to let people know, like you say, what you've seen and your experience, or are you have that inspirational twist on it, motivating people to whatever.
Well, the book is a little bit of everything. That's like, actually the person that did my foreword is my psychiatrist. And the book, it's very spiritual, inspirational, it's very harrowing. It just tells a lot, because my story is not my story to keep. If I keep my story to myself, it will be denying God's miracle, and I
Mm-hmm.
can't do that. I'm not going to be a false witness. I'm just going to tell it the way it is, because not only me telling my story, but within the book I have my medical record to back it up. So that's another thing. Before I went through all this editing with the book, I made sure I got my full medical record, that everything I speak of as far as the timeline with the disease or the congestive heart failure or the cardiac arrest for 20 minutes, I made sure that it aligned in order with my medical record. So the book, I mean, it has a lot in there. It has stuff, you know, babies, my babies. It has stuff with the family, stuff what happened. It has the bio. It's just about everything. It's very inspirational. It's an inspirational memoir.
Oh,
And
okay.
that's the point for people to know, because don't know who's fighting the battle you don't know nothing about. You don't
Right.
know who experienced death. I mean, that's something that we can all relate to, is death. Whether we know someone who's passed on, whether we about nearly died ourselves, we know something about death. And
Hmm.
if my book can bring some form of comfort to know there is no pain, there is no sorrow, there is love, that the only thing really is the key is love. God is love. And
Hmm.
love will carry you on. Love thy brother, love thy neighbor. It's love. We treat people, because you don't know the person that you may be treating wrong is going through something. And
Right.
we have that love above all, then it will be curable. You will show care. And
Mhm.
so the book, I mean, it has a lot in there. And it's not only for women, it's for men. For
Mhm.
men who has lost their wife or their child's parent during delivery.
Yeah, and that's a lot
And
of
it's
that used to go around when
especially
back in the
African
days. It
American
used to happen
women.
a lot. It used to happen a lot with where women would pass away through childbirth
And
back
so
in
the
the
man has
day.
to step
So
up
yeah.
to be that
Mhm.
mother and that father. And
Hmm.
luckily, I was blessed with a good dad for Kenzie.
Hmm.
And so I really had support. I had his family take care of Kenzie, my family took care of Naomi. And so we were just
Hmm.
all working together so I would be healed, because I was independent. I really didn't ask for help. I was been on my own since I was young. Even though I
Hmm.
had threatened of being homeless, I was always dependent. So to see me down, it was a life changing.
Yeah. Well, we want to thank you for coming on our show today, Shawnise.
You
And
welcome.
Yeah.
we wish you well with your book, and we keep you in our prayers, and
Thank you.
Definitely.
Please
we
do.
we hope that you continue to spread your word, and let
Yes.
people know
Amen.
more about what's going on with Shanice and the
And what
book
God can
and
do.
what God can do. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So
And
that's why I put on there
stay
God's
in contact with
blessings.
me.
Yeah, I
Yes,
will.
girl.
Yeah. So thank
Yeah.
you. We want to thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming on today. We want to thank all of our followers and listeners and everybody that made comments and things like that. I didn't get to everybody's comments, but I'm gonna go through some of them right now. You ready, Ursula? Oh, ready, Ursula? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
When you write, you write. I'm not sure what she's talking about,
Oh,
but
she was talking about when she was saying that the black
You should when you
thing.
typed you right.
Right.
okay. But God,
Hmm.
Pray
Praying
prayer
hands.
hands.
good evening. Hey, Fred. Well,
Hey,
good evening,
Fred.
Fred.
Yeah. So yeah, we really truly appreciate you coming on. You want to tell you got like a minute, just a minute now. You got to let people know where they can find you within a
Okay.
minute.
I got you. I got you. So you can find me at www.shawnishechantel.com. Also on all the social media platforms, most of them, matter of fact, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Just search author Shawnise Chantell. You'll find me there. The book is called God Within the Lily. It's on pre-order, but also it's going to be out this summer in 2022. So make sure you get your copy, but you can also order it from Amazon once it hit the shelves.
All right. All right,
Yes.
Shanice, we
Wow. Be
appreciate
encouraged.
you. Yeah, and we appreciate you
Amen.
coming on the show, and we thank
Thank
you
you.
for coming out
God is truly
today.
faithful, and He showed you that. That's for
Oh
sure.
yes,
Amen.
he's a promise keeper
Yeah.
Yes,
and a
he
way
is.
maker.
Yes, he is always. We want to thank you for coming on the show. We want to thank everybody for tuning in to Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons and friends. Um, we will see you guys on what day? Tuesday, guys. Let's talk about it Tuesday.
Yeah.
And we're gonna send you out with some some of our little music we got here for you guys.
It's a heart for you guys. All the love.
Right back at you.
All right. We're gonna party out.
I'm putting my praise hands up.
Yeah.
That's it.
Put something up.
Yeah. But thank you guys.
Thank you. Take care.
All right. You have a good evening.
You have a good night.
See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in to Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons and friends. We will see you guys on Tuesday. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Everybody.
We love you guys. And if you want to be a guest on Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons and friends, hit us up on the email and we can make that happen. All
Yup.
Yup. You mean to tell me you beat me on the show today?
Hey, you know you was running back.